Okay, good morning, Sandra. Nice to
Hi,
have you
Allison.
on here. I'm going to read your bio a bit, and then if there's anything that you would like to add, you can just fill us in afterwards. So,
Sure.
Dr. Sandra Vaughn is a registered physiotherapist who is qualified in the United Kingdom at King's College in London in August 1995. She's been working in Barbados since 1997 at her private practice, PhysioCare Incorporated, located on Whitehall Main Road in St. Michael. Um, in recent times, Dr. Vaughn has become certified as an advanced Stomp Pilates matwork instructor and is also a level 2 CrossFit coach. In addition, she is also trained as CrossFit Kids coach, and she enjoys the sport of CrossFit, not to mention Pilates and lawn tennis, which I've never practiced before. Sounds fun though. A nice
Yep.
outdoor activity. Is there anything you'd like to add to that?
Um, no, I just love movement.
Mm-hmm.
And so I try and incorporate it into everything that I do. And I try to let people see the benefit of moving
Mm-hmm.
because movement is so amazingly powerful. And it doesn't matter how old you are, from the little toddlers to your 80-year-olds or your 90-year-olds. Everyone needs to move and benefit from movement.
So true. Well put. Well, tell us a little bit about your expertise over there in Barbados and your population of who you work with frequently.
So I tend to work with a lot of athletes, and that population is great to work with because they're very dedicated. They want to get better and they want to get better quickly. They also come from a background where they're generally fit
Mm-hmm.
or working on their fitness, and that helps a lot in terms of the healing process. So I tend to work as well with people who have shoulder problems and shoulder pain,
Mm-hmm.
and the pain may be pain or it may be lack of range of motion, something that affects them from their activities of daily living. So they're having challenges washing their hair, or they're having challenges just reaching behind in a car to get a handbag, or little things, putting clothes on the line.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to work with people where you can actually make an impact in how they're actually living and working, and their recreation.
I love that. Can you tell me a little bit about the qualities that these athletes really demonstrate? Because in terms of their dedication and commitment, that makes them the really good patient. Because I think some of the listeners, even if they're not an athlete, it might be a skill or something that they can start to bring into their own lives, like maybe it's the consistency with the athletes, or what do you see that really makes them commit to their care?
So I think you raised a really good topic because a lot of people perhaps don't see themselves as athletes.
Mm-hmm.
And in my mind's eye, an athlete is someone who is training or doing a particular activity on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, we, like you mentioned, is the consistency, making
Mm-hmm.
sure that they're coming in for their plan of care, making sure that they're doing any sort of accessory work or homework, stuff that I prescribe for them to do, not necessarily in the clinic, but something that they can do at home. So
Mm-hmm.
it's very much a team effort where you're working with the patient as well and not on the patient.
Yeah.
So if I prescribe exercises for you to do, then your job as the athlete or patient is to actually do those exercises at home so that when you see me again, we can then progress your treatment. So I
Yeah.
say the main thing in terms of getting better is to have that consistency, to have that discipline, and discipline to the point where if you're told to do X, you do X as opposed to doing X minus one or X plus
Or
two.
overdoing it.
Exactly, exactly. So being very dedicated. And it's not just to say about exercise and doing that, but how they treat themselves. So the whole wellness thing comes into it. So
Mm-hmm.
making sure that you're eating properly,
Mm.
that you're sleeping. Oftentimes people say, oh, I can get away with 4 hours sleep or 5 hours sleep. But we need more than that as human beings to function at our best. And sometimes we don't know what our best is because we've been so sleep deprived for so
Mm.
long.
That's, yeah, very, very true. I hope everyone heard that loud and clear. Sometimes you might not be reaching your full potential only because you just haven't tapped into it yet, just lack of sleep. Wow.
Exactly. Exactly.
So that
And
was a
learning
great.
any new skill, you
Mhm.
need to have the rest associated with it so that from a neurological standpoint,
Mhm.
you get the motor patterning and the motor control, and you actually remember a lot better if you couple that with rest.
Yeah, and I mean, as you know, in anything, it can be an athletic skill. It can be learning a new way to move from your physical therapist. It's yeah, ingraining it into your patterns. So it involves mental capacity in the beginning for sure.
Yeah.
And all this is a great lead into the next question of, for you personally, what does wellness mean? You touched on some things, sleep and diet. Are there more facets of wellness?
Well, the exercise for one, diet is important, sleep, rest, just being able to kind of recover. So for me, wellness is health or the absence of what we call disease
Mm-hmm.
or dis-ease. So you want to be functioning at your highest or fullest capacity or potential. And now that means different things for different people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But wellness generally is the absence of illness, which
Mm-hmm.
we tend to focus on more. We talk about chronic diseases and various things, which they have their place, but we also need to focus on being well and what we can do to help with the diseases or dis-ease that sometimes we encounter.
Yeah, I love that. So, based upon that, what do you feel yourself telling a lot of your clients or patients? What's the biggest tip a lot of the times you give them?
So a lot of times I would say to them that improvements, everybody expects a big jump in improvement. We want
Mm-hmm.
everything like yesterday.
Ah, yes.
No one wants delayed gratification
Mm-hmm.
or to work at something. Physiotherapy is very much about working, and you're going to get gradual improvements. You may see some dramatic changes, but generally speaking, you're gradually going to improve as you change the source of the problem and you start to correct that. So
Mm-hmm.
one of the things I like to say to patients or clients is that what you're aiming for is at least 1% improvement each and every day. Do something 1% better. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't seem like a lot, but over weeks, you're going to see a huge and a dramatic change in
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle, in how you feel, and your conditioning. So, I mean, if we take something like drinking water, yeah, some people want to drink a gallon of water straight off the bat. But if you haven't been drinking water, a gallon is a lot of water to be
Mm-hmm.
drinking. So, even if you started off with your half glass and be consistent with that, and
Mm-hmm.
then improve upon that by 1% the next week, the next week, the next week, then you're soon going to get up to be drinking your quota of water.
Yeah, no, that's such an important reminder because sometimes, like for example, a back pain maybe been going on for years or a few months, and it might take a few months to unravel that. And it's easy to get frustrated kind of in week 6 or so if you're not seeing this dramatic change. But if you stick with it over time, like you're saying, all that will add up. And so it keeps the mind in the game for the big picture.
Of course. I mean, I
Mhm.
think the other thing too is I usually recommend to patients to journal or just jot
Yeah.
down what they're
Mhm.
unable to do.
Yeah.
Because when they're able to do it, because it seems so everyday, they forget,
Mhm.
like 6 weeks ago they couldn't do X or they couldn't do Y,
Mhm.
because it's quote unquote normal. and has always been normal, when they regain that particular function, they're a bit complacent because, you know, they figured that it's something that they should do normally, whereas when they started off treatment, they may not have been able to do that before. So just
Yeah.
being able to keep track of your progress
Mhm.
and know that there's light at the end of the tunnel.
You're like a plug for my journal. That's the exact reason why I created the journal, which I give to all my patients. So,
Awesome.
yeah, I love it. So it's the Ignite Your Wellness Journal. It's on Amazon if anyone's interested. So, how do you work all this wellness into your business model?
So there is a big component of exercise. And so what I do is use progressive therapeutic exercises to get people back into the function that they want to. So whether it is playing tennis or whether it's CrossFit, just easing them back into things. So not just working on the symptoms, but
Mhm.
actually getting to the source of the problem,
Mhm.
educating them about what's happening to their bodies at the time, and how their habits, their day-to-day habits and wellness contribute to their speed of recovery. So looking
Mm.
at
Mhm.
sleep, if they can get their requisite number of hours of sleep in, then they're likely to recover faster than somebody who is sleep deprived and who's dehydrated. So
Mhm.
very much focus on the exercise component, but I do pull a little bit on the other areas of wellness as well.
Mhm. I love that. Um, and as a business owner, how what's the biggest challenge you find yourself having to overcome these days?
The biggest challenge for me has always been my age, and maybe even being female.
Mhm.
Even though physiotherapy traditionally is a female profession,
Mhm.
I find that people think I'm a lot younger than I actually am. And
Mhm.
therefore, gaining the respect of both patients and colleagues has always been hard for me,
Mhm.
because people think you're younger. They think that you don't have the experience, you don't have
Mhm.
the expertise. And so it's actually kind of a little bit tougher to win that patient over and say, yes, I'm passionate about this because A, I've been doing it for ages, and B, I know what I'm talking about. You
Mhm.
know, it's so age and respect, because of the age stuff, is tends to be the biggest challenge.
Yeah, I've been feeling that myself a little bit because I teach a lot of yoga classes, and it's something I hadn't really thought of till I was talking with a potential patient, and she was a student of mine, and she was like, "Wow, you own your own practice? You look so young. You're doing
Yes.
it so early." I'm like, "No, I'm old."
Yeah. You know, the one time that you're glad to be old
Right,
thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, "But thank you. I feel better."
Yeah. But it does add another like hurdle for the patient to get over, you know,
Mhm.
because if they see someone who is older or appears to be older, they feel, okay, this person has been around long enough. And
Right.
they don't realize that, yeah, you have the experience too. You,
Uh-huh.
because you practice what you preach, then you don't look as though you're ancient,
Yeah.
although you may be heading in that direction, you know.
Right.
So for me,
Yes.
that's important to not just tell my patients what to do. I want to model what they need to do.
Mhm.
I want to be active as well. I
Mhm.
What I like, and the reason I enjoy working with athletes and CrossFitters, is that I can understand the terminology. You know,
Mhm.
it's real to me because it's a sport that I enjoy. And so
Mhm.
if you're talking about your deadlift amount, or you know, you can't do toes to bar because of your shoulder,
Mhm.
I can actually understand that as a coach and as a
Mhm.
physio, and say, okay, this is how I help you with this, you know,
Mhm.
from those, and looking at it from those angles, and also
Mhm.
bringing in the Pilates as well in terms of the core stability. So that's why I'm passionate with working with this particular subset of individuals, Not that I don't work with other persons, but
Mhm.
this one, as you can see, gives me a buzz.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you're like the best interviewee because you again brought us right to the next question is how do you incorporate some of this wellness into your own life? So yeah, you mentioned already being really active. Are there any other tips or suggestions you can share with people about how you actually live what you talk about?
I think one of the things that you'd mentioned before is the consistency, because life happens. You
Hmm.
can't get away from it. One of the things that I do is I try to prioritize my working out.
Hmm.
I know what my schedule is going to be, and during the day it gets really, really crazy. So I usually schedule my workouts for first thing in the morning,
Hmm.
and that's twofold in terms of I get it out of the way, and I also don't have the opportunity to convince myself not to go. So if I go later in the day, I'm like, I'm too tired, I didn't have enough to eat. There, all the different reasons come out why I shouldn't be exercising. But I know if I hit that exercise first thing in the morning, then my brain is switched on. I'm more attentive to my patients, so my patients are going to benefit. I come in, adrenaline rushed.
Hmm.
And so all of that is a benefit to my clients. You have
Hmm.
to fit it in. And the
Hmm.
times that I don't get to do it in the morning, once I make that commitment with myself, I want to exercise X amount of times a week, then I have to find another time during the day to fit it in. So
Hmm.
it's making that commitment that is important in terms of wellness.
Yeah, that's huge practical advice. I love it. Any other parting words of wisdom that you would like to share with us?
I think for people who get injured, most of the time people feel, okay, I have to rest. I have to stop.
Hmm.
Yeah, you need to stop doing stuff that aggravates the injury or the condition, but
Hmm.
you don't need to stop moving. You
Hmm.
don't need to stop exercising. What you need to do in terms of your training is to modify how you're training and work around that injury.
Hmm.
So rest is not complete rest, and it certainly isn't in this day and age bed rest. What it is active rest. So
Hmm.
don't do activities that aggravate the problem, but certainly keep moving, keep
Hmm.
going. You need that increase in circulation to help in terms of the healing. You
Hmm.
need those endorphins so that you feel better about where you are in your stage of recovery as well.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel that that's so important. There's like the rare case, well, sometimes not so rare, where like they actually might need to stop for like a short period of time, but usually it's only like 24 hours, like
Yeah.
just to allow like the whole systemic inflammatory process to kind of calm down a bit. But then it's exactly what you're saying. So important to remember. Um, can you share with us your website and your social media information so people know how to get a hold of you?
Sure. Right now, our website is down, but you can grab me on Facebook at PhysioCare Inc.
Mm-hmm.
PhysioCareinc. Or we're on Instagram as well at PhysioCare Barbados. And you can also email me on physiocarebarbados@gmail.com. So those are ways to be able to reach out to us. You could do it the old fashioned way. We're in Barbados, so 246-424-7845 is the telephone number as well.
Beautiful.
And I'm happy to chat with people as well. If they're not sure whether physiotherapy is what they need, I'm more than happy to chat, direct message anyone who wants to get clarity on that.
Yeah, love it. Okay, cool. I'll include the Facebook link in the profile
Sure.
when I upload this. So thank you so much for your time and sharing your tips with us today.
It was great being here, Allison. Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. Okay, I'm just gonna end the